Oh, brother. What is our video today? Yes, I'll give you one guess as to which type of animal we have in our house. We've got a cat. Here's her cat tray here. We got a set right over here for right now, but eventually we're going to put it in the closet down here. We're still at the condo. And the closet here by the front door, see? I put those shelves in before. That's on my channel too. Okay, here's the front door to the condo. And see, whoever was here before us, they have a little cat door right here. And we're gonna have to train the cat to come in here. We're gonna put the cat box down in there and stuff. But for the time being, we've had it out here. And you know, when we first moved into here, it was all brand new to the cat. And she started pissing on the carpet. Now, at the other place we have, she wasn't pissing on the carpet. And this happens to be kind of a shag carpet, small shag, okay? And she was peeing upstairs. This was brand new carpet when we moved in here. And we thought, how on earth? Because at night I'd hear her clawing, kind of like how cats claw on furniture. I could hear that, and I knew, okay, she had just peed up here on this carpet. How can we stop that? And we were at our wits' end, and we were wondering, what are we going to have to do to the cat? And I started looking up on the internet and stuff, and lo and behold, we found something. Here, see this? This is called Comfort Zone, and it has to do. This was like a diffuser home kit, the value pack. See, it came with 3 heads and 6 cartridges, and the cartridges look like this, and the heads are like that. You screw that on there, and this has a wick that is wet, and it comes up there, and this top thing heats up as you plug it in. Okay, and we tried that, and we put one out here. That's what that's for. We put that one out here, and we stuck one up in the hallway upstairs. And you know, that seemed to work. And we just found a place in the hall right here. And see, we just put it right there. Okay? So when she comes up here, this is where she was coming and clawing. She was peeing all over in here, and I've got most of it all cleaned up, and we're gonna have to get a steam cleaner and kind of clean this carpeted area right in here, you know. But luckily, this color and stuff, you can't tell, you can't smell it. I've put simple green on it in several areas and scrubbed it and stuff, and that seemed to take this smell away. And you know, we started using this, and son of a gun, it helped. It really helped. So see, we've got one right here, and we got one upstairs. Okay, and that, I thought it was called Feel Away. See this here? This is a little spray bottle, and this is called Feel Away Classic, and you spray that on furniture to keep her from clawing at it. But you know, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Look at this. We brought this from the other house because she started clawing it. Look at that. And so we brought this over here to the condo, hoping that she would start scratching on this instead of the furniture. Well, then we got this new furniture. She started clawing down there a little bit, and along here, not too bad just yet. So then we take this blanket and kind of drape it over, and take that and drape it over, and put this over here to keep her from clawing on that. We just got this, and Mommy sprayed it with this Feel Away, with this stuff here, and so far she hasn't scratched this up. Mind you, this is only a couple weeks old, and but I sprayed it on this when this was still in good condition, and she would just lay down here and reach over there. She wouldn't even smell it. It's designed to prevent cats from doing it because they don't like the smell, apparently. Well, if she's laying out here, reaching over here, she doesn't smell it anyway, so she was clawing it up anyway. So you know, we've got a nice cat tree upstairs. Do you think she uses it? Of course not. She doesn't use it. And so, anyways, this stuff, VideoJoe Classic. Now, if you go to their site, maybe you can find stuff like this. But this, I thought this was from VideoJoe too. But it says Comfort Zone. Okay, and maybe that's how you find it. Calming diffuser home kit for cats and kittens. Recommended to calm your cat and reduce destructive behaviors. Used for urine marking, destructive scratching, creating and calming environment. It calms her down, and it's prevented her from peeing on the carpet. Imagine that. And so we put these. So that's what this video is about, is how to prevent your cats from pissing all over the place. And this was, like I said, we moved in here a while ago, and it's kind of different environment for her. Maybe that's why she was pissing on it, or maybe she thought this wasn't like regular carpet, and she thought it was okay to piss on this stuff because it's shag carpet. I have no idea, but she started doing that. Like I say, at the other house, we had a Berber type carpet, level loop carpet, and it was pushed down, and it's kind of an off-white, so if she were to piss on that anywhere, we'd see it. She's never done it in there, and she's thrown up a couple times on that white carpet. We can see where it is, if she eats grass or if she eats plants or something like that, indoor plants or something, and then she throws up. But in here, we haven't seen that anywhere. Okay, so try that. And you go on the internet, you can find all kinds of different things, but lots of times you'll come up with this name on the internet, VideoJoe Classic, and that's the spray. This spray is really super expensive, but and you're only supposed to spray that in certain areas. Now, could we have sprayed that on the carpet where we thought that she was peeing on? I guess you could, but that's not going to prevent her from pissing all over the place, you know, in different areas. So, and that would be very expensive. I think this was $35, $40 just for this little spray bottle. Are you kidding me? And this stuff wasn't that cheap either. Okay, but it's well worth it if it's keeping her from pissing anywhere, and it calms her. It calms her down from having to pee all over the place. Okay, so if you've got that issue, try that next time. Okay, Comfort Zone. And you know, our cat almost looks like that cat right there too. Almost. She's upstairs right now. I've got her up in the bedroom because I'm making this video and stuff. Okay, and it works. And I think this is our last container. Mommy might have ordered it. I think she ordered it online, as a matter of fact. And she got all kinds of different ones because, hey, if it works, we're going to keep using it. We don't want her messing up all of our brand new carpets and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so try that next time. Well, that's all I got for this time. But I'll be back with more videos. And what am I going to show you next time? Well, this is what I'm going to show you. Now see, when I put this into the electrical outlet, it started hanging down. It wasn't going straight up and down because the electrical outlet, this particular one and the one in the hallway upstairs, are probably areas where years ago when somebody else was living here, they would plug in their vacuum cleaner and use it because it's really super loose. And so I balled up some napkin and put it under there to keep this thing straight, because if you don't keep it straight, and if this thing is angled, then what happens is this fluid soaks up through the wick, and then it sets on top of a little area that heats up, and then that's how the smell comes out. And mind you, that smell is only your cats will smell it. Nobody else will be affected in your house, and if you have dogs or something, they won't be affected by it. But see what happened when this thing was angled? See all that stuff down there? It would accumulate because there's a flat tray on here, and if you have it slightly angled, the wick fills up the tray, and then it overflows the tray a little bit and comes down on the side of this, on the inside of this, through through the threads on that and on there, and then it runs down because I would feel on the bottom of this and it would be wet and oily. Right now, see, it's dry. That's because I've got that on there for this to go straight up and down, but I still put that on there. That was before I caught it. And see, if you have one of those on your carpet and you don't know it, it could be saturating your carpet, or it saturates your floor, your linoleum, or your tile, or whatever it is. And so the one upstairs, I even got a paper towel or a napkin underneath that. I'll show you. When I replaced this, I thought, okay, that's straight too. Now see how that's straight up and down right now? If I take that little napkin piece out, that goes in at an angle, and then it runs over the top, and then this bottom gets wet, and then it drips down on here. And luckily I've been catching it. So these the metal areas where you plug in, they're just loose. I've come loose from time and stuff. So that's what my next video is going to be. I'm going to be making it right now. You'll find that on my video channel. Once you find this one, you can see what I've made right after that. If you go to all videos on my main channel page, okay, and or you can find it through my playlists on my main channel page. Click on playlists, and you'll see. And then you'll scroll down to electrical, and then it's down. It'll be down through that. That one's the same way. So what I'm going to do, my next video, I'm going to remove this electrical outlet and replace it with a brand new one. Even though this one's still working, that way the little prongs on the inside of here will be nice and stiff. You know what I mean? Like a brand new one. And I'll be able to plug this in. I shouldn't have to put any paper towel underneath it like that, or a napkin all folded up. That's kind of hokey. You know, could it cause a fire or something if this thing were to spark or something? I have no idea. I don't think it would. But I'd rather not have to mess with that all the time. And so when I put a new electrical outlet in there, the prongs of these, see these prongs will shove in there and hold nice and straight and get this to go straight instead of angled. You see what I mean? Because see, there's a little tray above that. You can't really see it here. This is a different kind, see? But we bought it at kind of the same time. See how that kind of fills that top little tray thing, and then this heats up a little burner of some sort, and then the fumes come out of here. But if you have this slightly angled, it just doesn't take very much. Some of this stuff slides off the back side or through the threads or something, and it accumulates on the bottom of this, and then it drips. It's not very much, mind you, but a little. You know, if you feel on the bottom of those, and if you got a little grease on your fingers, you'll know what I'm talking about. Okay, that's the one tip I would say. If your electrical outlet, if it's not going straight, put something under there. Make sure that's going straight down. Wipe it off with a paper towel or something, and then check it maybe that evening, the next morning, and make sure you don't want to start screwing up your floor. With this stuff. This stuff is it's greasy when it gets on your fingers. You'll know what I'm talking about. Okay, so that's what I'm gonna do next. Okay, see you next time. Uh-oh, spaghetti-o. I have a feeling I know what this video is going to be about. How to replace an electrical outlet. And yes, you would be correct in knowing that. And this electrical outlet happens to be working right now, and it's always worked. So why am I replacing it? Well, for the common fact that this little thing that's plugged in here is for cats. It's to prevent cats from pissing on the floor. And we moved into this condo recently. It's been a while now, but the cat's been pissing on the carpet when we first moved in. And to get her from stopping that, we got these things, and I just made a video about it. Hopefully you can catch that one. I forget what it's called, something comfort something or other, and I don't think it's from Feel Away. I think it's from some other place. Mommy got it on the internet, and it's the stuff that calms cats down and keeps them, prevents them from pissing on the floor. And son of a gun, it works good. And see, right now I've got some paper towel there. See, when I lift that away, see how this pulls down? It's easy for it to come down at an angle, because see how sloppy it is in there? And my see, look at that one. It's very easy for it to slide down like that. And if it goes down at an angle, this thing comes up a wick, and then it heats on a little tray. But if this slides down like that, it starts accumulating down here on the bottom, and then it starts dripping down on the floor like this. Okay, I don't want that. I don't want to have to do this every time I want to plug that in. So my theory is I'm going to take that off. I'm going to leave that over there for right now, and I'm going to go ahead and replace this electrical outlet, because I believe these little prongs in here are really super old, and it's just keeping those prongs from staying tight like a brand new one would be. Okay, even though this is still good. Okay, if you want to watch that, stick around and I'll show you how I do it. Now, of course, maybe you don't have cats, maybe you don't have any of these, maybe you don't have cats that piss on your floor or any of that stuff. And if this plug is still working, you don't have to replace it at all. Maybe your plug is broken. Maybe your ground right there is snapped off. The plastic. Well, if it is, it's not wise to keep running your electrical outlet. Maybe the bottom was cracked. Maybe it's pushed in a wall. Who knows what it is? But if you need to replace an electrical outlet, this video is for you. Now, of course, am I going to remove this electrical outlet without turning the power off? No, and I don't suggest that you do either. I've got my little tester, and we know the power is on. Okay, and so I'm gonna flip breakers, and I'm gonna make sure that the power is off. Okay, before I touch that. Electricians, yeah, they know how to do it, and they can do it in such a way, but you're probably not an electrician. If you were an electrician and you knew all about how to do stuff, you probably wouldn't be watching this video. Okay, so make sure the power is off. And if you don't have a little tester like this, you want to go down to the store, Home Depot, Lowe's, something like that, you could probably buy one of these for about $5. You know, one of these little testers like this, or a different type of little tester that you plug in there, a little plastic box that you do that. Or if you don't want to even do that, just plug a lamp in there, an extension cord, a radio, a charger, anything like that, okay, to check that. But we're going to get this power off before I do anything. Okay, I got it shut off, and it was under deck plugs. This is downstairs next to the deck, and I thought I'll try that one first, and sure enough, it was it. Okay. And this happens to be the exterior wall. What I did is I put a little foam pieces under here. See this thing here? And that is because if you put your hand here, you could feel cold air coming from outside if this is on an exterior wall. Okay, so I'll end up putting that back on. Now it's about unscrewing this, and I'm just going to replace like for like. Have I worked on this plug ever before, other than putting that little styrofoam in there for the switch? No, I haven't. But when I repainted this condo, I went around afterwards and made sure these were all straight up and down, made sure the screws were tight, because some of these were kind of loose. And I did all that before I put the cover plates back on. Okay. And so now I'm going to pull that out from the wall like that. Okay. And I see on there, let's take a quick look at this. And I see there's 2 black wires and 2 white wires on it. Here's a ground wire that's hooked to it. And these, see how they're wrapped around the screws on the side? On both sides. Why did they do that? You know, I look at the new plug, and this electrical outlet only cost me 77 cents. Now see on the back, there's little areas where you could plug them directly into the back. I don't generally like to do that, but years ago, I would do that all the time. Every once in a while, those will get loose as you're trying to push it back into the box. And funny thing is, I happen to look on the electrical panel, and all of the breakers are 20 amp breakers. What does that tell me? That tells me that all the wires, all these wires that come into this box are 12 gauge. And because 12 gauge wires go on a 20 amp breaker. You have 15 amp breakers and 20 amp breakers. 15 amp breakers are for 14 gauge wire, okay, which is smaller than this. And another funny thing is, on these cheap plugs, these are 15 amp plugs. And let's see if I can see that. See, right? I'm not. Oh yeah, see, right down in there. I don't know if you see a 15. And that means these should technically only go on 15 amp breakers. But you know what? Every house that I've ever seen, if you have well, on most times, 20 amp breakers, they still put 15 amp plugs. I've even seen it in commercial buildings, believe it or not. In commercial buildings, when you have 20 amp breakers, you should put 20 amp electrical outlets on those breakers. Sometimes the inspector catches, sometimes they don't. And see, these used to be designed where the hole on the back side was a little bit bigger. But nowadays, they make that small little hole back in there only big enough to push in 14 gauge wire. Now, hopefully you're watching this entire video, because then you'll learn more as you go along. Okay, so that's a reason why the last person could not plug into the back, because the holes were probably too small. And so they thought, okay, we'll fix that. We'll just put them on the side. And even if this was 14 gauge wire, I would prefer screwing it on, putting the wires and wrapping them around the screw anyways, because that keeps you a better connection. And another thing you could do is, when you're putting these on, this little gold thing here pops back. Let's see if I can show you. Oh, maybe this one doesn't have it. No. Okay, I guess this one doesn't. Sometimes this thing folds up, but you see this little groove right there? You see that little groove right there? It's just enough. You can put the wire, you can strip the wire and put it straight in like that, and then clamp the screw down on the sides. So your wire can go straight in if you want, instead of wrapping it around. But because these are wrapped, what do you think I'm going to do? I'm just going to unscrew them on the side, and I'll probably leave the wire exactly how I found it. Do you see what I mean? Stick with me and you'll find out. So in a sense, I explained to you 3 different ways you can hook this up. The wire's on the back side, the wire slipped in underneath the screw, or strip the wire longer and wrap it around the screw and tighten it up. These are wrapped around the screw, okay? And just for kicks, well, I already checked the power, and where's my little tester? I just had my tester a second ago. I was going to show you on it. You know, I was pretty sure, but you can also do it like this after the fact too. And I got it off. See, I plugged it back in here, and sometimes you have to hold your mouth just right, get it in there, and then turn it up back and forth like that. But it's off, the power's off. Okay. So what am I gonna do? I'm gonna just take this and I can turn it over this way, and I can leave it just like that, and I can take the ground wire off, the 2 white wires, and I can have this one ready, and I can put those 2 on first, can I? Exactly like how it is. You don't have to know hardly anything. Just unscrew this, and this thing should come off. You know, with a little bit of help. You may have to tweak the wire a little bit. And there's a curly Q on it, okay? And there's also curly Qs on here. Okay, so I'm not even going to worry about the black wires just yet. I'm just going to unscrew these screws, and we'll get them out there here as far. Boy, we got that one really screwed down. Now you'll feel a definite area to where you think that's as far as you can go, and you might be able to pull these off, and you might not be able to pull them off. If you're having a hard time pulling them off, okay, just grab that and twist this, and the screws will come out. Okay, the screws will come out on the side all the way. If it makes it easier for you to fish those out without bending them. Okay, just like that. Okay, now I don't even have to worry about that plug right now, do I? I can do it the very same way. And the whites always go on the silver side. See how this got silver screws, gold screws. Silver's for the white wires. See this here? You ever notice that? This side, the slot is longer than this side. Did you ever know that? That's your neutral side. That's your silver side. That's your white wires. This side on the small side is your black wires. And your black wires are connected on these gold screws or the holes on that side. Okay? So enough of that. I've got this unscrewed just about all the way on this side. Well, that one could go out a little bit further, okay? And could I take those screws out? Yeah, I could take those screws out if I wanted. I don't think I'm going to have to. I think I can just now reposition these wires and kind of get it in there at an angle. See? Look, that first one went just fine. Okay. And see, the last person who did these, they didn't crimp that wire. Once you get it in the screw like that, what you're supposed to do is crimp the 2 ends together so that it doesn't want to come off your screw, let's say. Okay? And see, the last guy who did this, he didn't leave a long enough thing on there. And so it's making it difficult for me to grab that back there. And so now you tighten that up, and I'm just getting the slop pushed up that way with my thumb. Okay, I'm tightening that one down. Now I can do the next one, and you might have to twist the wire, tweak it just a hair to get it over that, like that. Okay, now I'm pulling on that wire like that to get the slop up, and I'm tightening that down. See anything hard I'm doing? I don't think so. Okay, now the ground wire, I can do the same thing. Put that in there. That, I might be able to crimp this. Let's just see if I can. Now see, I could leave it like that, or I could straighten that out and crimp it and twist that over, make it a little bit longer. Whatever I want, as long as I know that once I tighten it down, the screw head is gonna be on that ground wire, and the ground wire is not going to want to slip back from where it is to get a good connection. See, that's why when you do this, you want You want the wires to wrap around the screw going the same way that it's tightening up. Okay, so far so good. All right, let's do the black. Let's do the black side here. I'm just gonna slide this out of the way. And I can take this and slide it. Just slide that over. I can just take this and twist it this way. I do that because I'm right-handed, so it's easier for me. If you're left-handed, you can do the very opposite of what I'm doing. All right. Again, it's easier to take these screws out all the way instead of, because see, they've already kind of crimped this up a little bit. It makes it real difficult to slip it out without getting a little screwdriver in there and holding your mouth just right and all that kind of stuff. See, I could take a little screwdriver in there and do that and pry it out if I wanted. I'm just trying to show you an easier way, and that's to take these screws out on the side. And it doesn't matter for this particular electrical outlet, does it matter if this black wire gets attached to the bottom or to the top? If you flip-flop those around, does that matter? No, it doesn't matter. It does not matter. Because on the side, here's another trick for you. On the side of this, okay, see those are connected by this little side thing right here. See this little tab? Have you ever noticed that before? That little tab. See? That connects top to the bottom. So if the hot wire was screwed in there, this makes it so that the bottom is hot too. Now if you had a light switch, like say for a nightstand or your garbage, let's say your garbage disposal, and you have this electrical outlet underneath your sink, one side you want hot all the time for your dishwasher, one side you want to be controlled for your light switch, your wall switch for your garbage disposal. You just use this, you don't break the white side off. I don't know why you would ever want to break the white side off, but they have it on the white side and they have it on the black side, the power side, okay? All you would do is take that and you would break that off. A pair of pliers, back and forth, needle nose, and then you can put your power going up for your light switch here, and then your power to your garbage, to your dishwasher down here. Do you see what I'm saying? That's what that's for, okay? And see, the white side has the same thing. So on standard electrical outlets, it does not matter if you have these wires flip-flopped, okay? But for the sake of argument, on ours, we know that's the top one, that's the bottom one. Makes it easier because of how they all smashed it in there. I'm just going to take this side and unscrew this a little bit further, give myself a little bit of air, and you'll feel a definite, it gets it slightly tight as you're doing it. And if you do it too much and if the screw comes out, that's fine. Let's say our screw comes out all the way, or this is twisted over further. Take your screw out all the way. Okay, like that. And let's just see if we can't. It's a little bit trickier, but it's really not that tricky, is it? As long as you find the hole here. Oh man. Oh, here we go. I'm still not finding it. Where is it? Oh, okay. I had it. No, still. Wow. That's because this has to be twisted just a hair. Like that. See, if that was crimped over even further, and you don't have to uncrimp it, you're just going to have to do a trial and error, and eventually you're going to get it lined up. I haven't really gotten it yet. Boy. Hold on. There we go. I think. I'm trying to do it fast, and the faster I try to do it, the slower it's taken, right? There we go. Okay. Now I'm just going to pull the pressure back on that and get it lined up there and tighten her down. Okay. This one is really close too, and I don't think I can get it like that. I would have to open this up just a little bit with my pliers, and then I could probably tweak this a little and get it over on there. See, like that. And if it's long enough, then I can take my, like that, twist that on there like that, see? There. There's a way to do it that way. Okay, there we go. Okay, and straighten it back up like that. Hey, that's what you should have so far. See, you're doing it. Now before I go any further, let's talk about this old electrical outlet. What am I going to do with this? If I were to, let's say, you know, I know it's still working. You know, could I put this out in a garage or in an attic or something like that if I wanted to? Worst case scenarios, yeah, I could, because you know, for emergency purposes. And I think I'll keep it all together. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my silver screws and I'm just going to put them back in there on the side. Make sure I get the silver. Come on. I'm just putting the silver ones back on the side that I took them out of. Okay. And then I'll do the same with the gold. All right. And then I can keep this one for emergencies. Now, if I wasn't keeping this for emergencies, what would I do? Would I just go ahead and throw it away like this? No. I would do a couple things. I would first off take the ground screw out, and I would save the ground screw. A lot of times you can use that ground screw in metal boxes. If you have a ground screw that's missing in a light fixture box, let's say, something like that, or you might need one for a pancake box, metal pancake box, something like that. I would save the ground screw, okay? I would also save these mounting screws. Every once in a while, the mounting screws, maybe you need just one. Did you know if you don't have any mounting screws, you can take a 1.25" drywall screw, the coarse threaded drywall screws. They usually run right into metal boxes just fine. So lots of times, I don't care if one of these is missing or not. Another thing I would do is, you see there's a little groove notch right there. I would bend these off. I would bend all 4 of these off, and I would put these in my nail bag, and then I could use that for a washer. You know, a shim washer somewhere where it's never going to be noticeable. And I've got 4 washers. Okay. Incidentally, you would break these tabs off. See where the groove is right there? You would break those off, bend those off, if you were installing this into a cut-in electrical box. These ears are designed to fit over the sheetrock. Well, a plastic cut-in box fits over the sheetrock at the top and bottom, and then it ties into the back, and there's a screw that tightens it up. And so if you were to put this on the box, this builds out that much further, and sometimes when you put your cover plate on, the cover plate doesn't want to sit tight to your wall. So you would undo these, and then this little part right here would fit into a notch in the cut-in box. Okay, so that's the things I would do if I was throwing that electrical outlet away. Okay, but for the time being, this is going to be my emergency electrical outlet in case I need it for something. You never know when you're going to need something like that. Or now I can rob the screws off. I've got a ground screw. I've got these extra screws. Usually you wouldn't use those side screws for anything much else anyways. Okay, I got to screw these on there and I'll be done. I'll be right back to you, and we'll put this, I'll show you how you kind of maneuver and wedge these wires back into the box. Pretty easy, but if you've never done it, keep watching, I'll show you. I always like to give you bonus material on my videos, so you always want to watch my videos. I never know what I'm going to say next. Here's those things. Happens to be called comfort zone, and it calms your cat down. And that's the little thing I had plugged into the wall. Okay, right here. And you can buy separate little goodies. You can buy a 6-pack of just these. This particular box here, this was their value pack. Okay. And it came with 6 refills, and it came with 3 heads. And you could change out the head each time, but I don't like to throw all the heads away in case one, if the threads aren't working right or something like that, I always keep one. Okay, comfort zone, that keeps at least keeps our cat from pissing on the carpets. You might want to remember that if your cat does it. Okay, let's get this. We still have the power off. Okay, well, the wires are coming out as like an S. I only pulled them out, and all of this is all ready to go back, kind of like a spaghetti, kind of like an S or a V. See how it comes? It comes from the top down, and it comes up, and then it kind of comes back down. So as I push it in, it's kind of like an accordion. I'm just kind of smashing these wires back in, kind of like how they were before. Okay. I kind of have to do it sideways at first because I want to push it in all the way, because my screws are still attached. If I wanted to, this was brand new, or if you were adding a wire into here, I would take these screws out so I could push this straight back. Last thing you want to do is have it hard right here, because how the wires are configured in there, or maybe the wire's hitting electrical wire nut, maybe the wire nut is hitting something else and you're not able to get it in there. You think, oh, that's fine, I'm just going to ram the screw in there and that's going to screw it in. Nope, either your threads strip out of your plastic box, or they don't strip out of your plastic box, and it folds this metal on your electrical outlet. It folds this back, and sometimes it could snap off, or it pushes out, and then your cover plate might not fit up against the wall, or maybe your top plug is pushed in too far into the wall. Well, it's because this deal here isn't perfectly straight up and down. Okay, so you want to be careful with that. I've fixed many a plug where it's been pushed into the wall, taken it back out, and bent this back out with a pair of pliers, screwed it back in. It's fine. See, I pushed it in as far as I can, knowing with these screws pushed on the outside, knowing that it's gonna screw right in now. Okay, it's gonna screw in straight, and it should be fine. If you look at it right now, and if you think this needs to be tweaked over, bent over, or pushed in or something, to rearrange the wires, the last thing you want is for this electrical outlet to come out at an angle or something, so when you put your cover plate on, your cover plate doesn't fit on nice and flat. Okay, but all this looks like it's going to go straight up against the wall. And I can kind of see what I could have done before I took this out. I could have put a little black felt tip mark right where the center of the screw goes, to know that I'm right about where it was before, you know. But I didn't. And main thing is you want your outlet so it's not crooked, okay? And the slot in there, there's a slot there that makes your screw slide to the left and to the right a little bit, okay? And you can get it. See, that needs to be pushed over a little bit, I can see. And this one needs to be slid over this way, over that way a little bit. So I take my screwdriver and just kind of do it, and then snug it down. You don't want to go too tight. You want to be snug. You want to over tighten it. If you over tighten it, you can put a bulge in the wire mounting area, and you could actually suck the electrical outlet into the wall just a little bit. So when you put your cover plate on there, it doesn't fit nice and snug. Okay, so now I'm going to put that on there. And make sure, again, you don't tighten that screw too tight, because lots of these covers, if they're not the vinyl ones, you could snap that, and you tighten that too much, you could crack this. And then you can kind of move this a little bit, see? And I like to stand back and make sure it's nice and straight. I'm going to stand back. And yeah, that looks nice. That looks nice there. If yours had to be slid over any more, you take the cover plate back off, and then you can slide that over, you know, on the back side, tighten it back up and all that kind of stuff, okay? Well, there you go. Am I done yet? Nope. I've got to turn the power back on. I'm going to check that with my tester and all that. Don't make the assumption that it's going to work. I've installed a couple electrical outlets before, thought I did everything right, and turn it back on, and it didn't work. And lo and behold, one of the wire nuts had come loose, or one of the wires came out of the back side of the electrical outlet or something like that. Always check your work when you get done. Okay, I have not checked this yet with my tester. Now here's another tip for you too. When you go to turn the breaker back on, if you turn your breaker on and if the breaker snaps back at you and trips, let's say, then you know you've done something wrong. Don't try to reset your breaker again after that, because chances are there's something wrong with whatever you did in there. Wire nut has come off, a wire popped off, the screw, you thought the screw was tight on the side and it popped off, and now it's touching metal in there somewhere. If it's a metal box, junction box or something like that, go back, leave your circuit breaker off, come back, pull this apart, figure out what it is, figure it all out, and you should be able to fix it, and then turn your breaker back on. Now if your electrical breaker tripped, before you turn it on, you have to turn the breaker all the way off and then turn your breaker back on. If you turn your breaker back on and it snaps again, chances are you still haven't fixed the problem. Once you get all done, you think you've got everything fixed, turn the breaker off all the way, turn it back on. If it stays on, voila, you fixed the problem. Okay, so let's see if everything's working now. Okay. Sometimes you have to move this around, and it's working. Okay, everything's fine. Now, let's see my hypothesis. Remember, I was doing it because this was all loose, and this one was really loose. Okay, this is a brand new electrical outlet. The prongs inside there should be nice and stiff now. Let's just see if this is going to stay. I mean, it's still slightly loose. Not as bad as it was. That looks pretty good. And I can leave it like that. Check it after a few days to see if it's dripping. Worst case scenario, if this thing wants to slide down, I can take my little roll of napkin, put it underneath there to keep it from tilting down. I don't want it to tilt down, because if it does, when you have one of these, it's going to run off your top tray, and then the bottom gets greasy, and then you know it's going to start dripping. That's what happened here. If you can see that discoloration on the floor. I put some cardboard down here because I wanted to protect this until I got that fixed. Okay, I'm not 100% sure if that electrical outlet has done its business for this little deal or not. I'll keep my eyes on it and see where to go from here. But you know, how much did that cost me to replace that? I think it was 77 cents at the store. That's all it cost. And this electrical outlet will still be good for something else. That's all it took. And if you watch this entire video, I'm going to say you've learned something with the last 10 minutes you spent watching this video. Well, that's all I got for this time. Well, I hope you've learned something on this video on how to replace an electrical outlet. Well, that's all I got for this time, but I'll be back with more videos.